CSF top mount intercooler. I'll show you right now.
Oh my god, they just had it.
And just like that, your stock intercooler is off. Time to turn it on. Successful install. The car's running smooth. We're gonna go test it right now.
We go on the beat.
What is up? Welcome back. I got a bunch of things coming for the M, other projects as well, but we are back at it. I'm out here with the homeboys, Rolla,
Hello.
Kelvin, and the man himself, Groovy, and the one and only Alex.
Hello.
Upgraded turbo, so stay tuned. For today's episode, basically we are going to be working on the cooling system. Picked up a little CSF intercooler. For those of you guys that know, top mount for the M S55 platform. Alright, so this is the CSF top mount intercooler. Basically, we are going to be upgrading the OEM one, which is this one right here. We're going to be releasing the charge pipe hose clamps right there. Then we'll be disconnecting the intercooler lines, followed by the J pipe and the sensor. Once that's off, we can pop that off, put the new one on, and we'll go from there. Okay, first things first, we're going to loosen up the charge pipe bolts. Mines are 8mm, so loosen both of these up. And then we'll pop these off. Okay, once you got these two loosened up, you can just wiggle them off. You can just move them to the side. You don't really have to take them completely off, but just enough to have some slack and leeway. Next thing you want to do, you want to release or loosen up the hose clamp for the J pipe. Another 8mm right there. So you want to just stick your socket and loosen that up. You want to loosen it enough to where it's basically free and there's no restriction. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with wrestling it off. And then you basically want to use some pick tool so you can loosen and break the seal on the J pipe with the intercooler. Smudge it in the middle and then just work your way around it. These tend to create a seal, so it's going to be easier to pop the intercooler off if you just break that seal with something like a flathead. Thing is the actual sensor. So same flathead, you want to lift up that little tab, try not to break it because plastic is gentle, and then you can just pop that down. So while that's cooling off, just because we're working on coolant, Groovy's gonna give us a little pep talk. Let him know what you need to go full bolt-ons without blowing anything.
Don't tune it yourself.
Rolla tuned it himself, and 850 was too much. All right, so next thing's next. You just want to start moving some of these wires to the side. We're gonna be popping off that grommet, followed by the coolant hoses, one right here and one right here. After that, basically intercooler's coming off. So with that being said, we're gonna pop these off with this flathead screwdriver. Literally just boom. And that one. Okay, so once these are off, you wanna grab some towels. It might get messy, but you basically wanna just put them under. Coolant may come out, hopefully not too much, but always be precautious and keep that thing dry. And then pops off just like that. Coolant right here. Move that to the side, and then we're gonna work our way over to this one. Now you're gonna move the towel to the next location, which is the second. I believe that's the return line. Just pop the line off, and that should be moved to the side. Quick recap: top coolant hose, bottom coolant hose. Disconnect the J pipe, 2 charge pipes, and there's 3 grommets holding up the intercooler, so we should be ready to take this thing off. Go, that's 1 out of the 3. That's 2, 3, and just like that, your stock intercooler is off. We're gonna place it to the side. Last time that should go on the car, because after that, CSF is taking over. Okay, first things first, you want to transfer all the brackets with the grommets from the old one onto the new one. So you're going to need a T30. You're basically going to take off the old brackets from the OEM one and transfer them onto the new CSF intercooler. So this is the first one. I would clean it, but it's going to be under the CSF intercooler, so you're not really going to see it. So we're going to leave it like that. This one is 3T30, so, and this is for the 2 grommets compared to that one, which is only 1. All right, so quick disclaimer. The original bolts from the OEM one do not transfer over to the CSF. In our case, we had to go and buy some special bolts. So for those of you guys that need aftermarket bolts for the CSF, there it is, M6-1x16. Why? Because OEM bolts do not transfer over. All right, once you have the 2 grommet brackets removed from the bottom, you're gonna remove the last 2 bolts that are holding the little reservoir, the coolant reservoir on your OEM one, so you can then transfer it over onto your CSF one. 2 bolts, they're held in by 2 T20s. Some pliers, take that little hose off, and then you can transfer it over. Last piece you want to take off is the actual sensor. It's a T30. There's 2 bolts. And once you take this off, you can easily just transfer it over to the new one. Recap. First things first, sensor, coolant reservoir, followed by the 2 brackets on the back. Once that's transferred over from your OEM one to the CSF one, you're ready to install it. So let's get to it. I found that installing it onto the J-pipe first, and then lining up this grommet basically allows you to then just pop down, and everything else just practically lines up. So install J-pipe first. All right, now you basically want to start reconnecting all your coolant hoses. Pop them back on. There were 3 from before. Just like that. Put them down. Put them down. Put them down. Why did they say BMW is not easy to work on? Don't you have a BMW?
328 suck. Don't get one.
8mm on both of these. J-pipe as well. Once that's set up, we can start adding coolant. So here in San Francisco, where the temperatures get above 90 degrees every single day, you need to keep your engine cool. Therefore, we're installing the CSF intercooler. It's always foggy in San Francisco. It's never hot here.
Foggy.
Okay, everything is all tidied up now. Okay, so for those of you guys that know, including my friend Alex here, because BMW drivers know this, but for the coolant, it's going to be a 50-50 blend, meaning 50% coolant from BMW and 50% distilled water.
Oh my god, they just have a leg. Oh, that's fine.
Yes. All right, so once you have your 50-50 blend, you basically top it off the reservoir. Once it reaches the max capacity, you're then going to bleed the system, which we will show you right now. So the last process to this whole installation, after everything's topped off snug, is hooking up a battery charger. We're going to hook up a battery charger just because we need to bleed the system. So, take it away, Alex.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna hook it up. So you have your battery cover right here. Well, I don't know, it's not a cover.
Yeah, it's the cover.
The positive side, and then you're gonna hook up your negative side to right here. Take your 2 prongs, your alligator clips. You're gonna go positive, and you're gonna go negative. After that, you're just gonna plug it in. And we're charging it.
So for those of you guys that are looking into getting a battery charger, do make sure that the battery charger is lithium capable, just because these lithium batteries don't run cheap. You don't want them dying out and having to go back to BMW and getting a new one. So with that being hooked up, let's step inside and get this thing bled. Once you're in the car without pressing the brake, you're going to turn the ignition on to the accessory mode. You are then going to turn your fans to the lowest setting while turning the temperature to the highest setting. You are then going to turn your headlights to the on position, and you're going to hold down the accelerator for about 10 seconds. After about 5 minutes, you'll actually hear the auxiliary water pump start kicking in, and that's when the car starts to bleed itself. You can also feel right here, and you'll actually feel the fluid running up through the intercooler and down, back, and out. Now we just got to repeat this, I think, 1 or 2 times. So I'm over here bleeding my system. These guys are over here filming TikTok. Car must have sent some signals out because Peluchin popped out. Hello, Peluchin. You guys remember Peluchin from last time where we installed his camber kit? Peluchin,
Yes, sir.
talk about your car real quick. Let us know.
It's low, it's low.
It's slow?
Low.
It's slow and...
not so much as low.
Well, low and slow is fine, you know? So, time to turn it on and, you know, check for any leaks. That's the new one. That was the old one. Thank you for putting up with some runs against some Hellcats. You did your job. It's time for you to shine. So stay tuned for next time where we install something else on the car. Like I said, I got parts stocked up. And before we close it off,
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
you heard it here first.